In 1974, at the height of his fame when the whole world thought they knew Elvis Presley, he sat down alone, late at night, inside the walls of Graceland, and he wrote a letter he never sent, a letter nobody was supposed to find, a letter so personal, so raw, so heartbreaking, that when members of his inner circle finally spoke about it years after his death, they said it changed everything they thought they knew about him. What you are about to hear is that letter. It was the summer of 1974. Elvis was 40 years old, though he looked older. The concert schedules were relentless. The pills had become a daily reality. The marriage to Priscilla had already fallen apart, and his daughter, Lisa Marie, was growing up in a different house, in a different city, without her father tucking her in at night. From the outside, the world saw the rhinestone suits, the sold-out arenas, the endless adoration. 60,000 people a night screaming his name so loud the ground shook beneath their feet. But inside Graceland, inside that big, quiet house that never truly felt like a home, Elvis was alone in a way that most people will never understand. You can be loved by millions and still feel like no one in this world truly sees you. He knew that better than anyone. On this particular night, something had broken loose inside him. He had turned down dinner. He had sent the Memphis Mafia his boys. The men who were always around, he had sent them all away. He sat down at the piano in the trophy room, played a few chords of something slow and old, and then he stopped. He picked up a pen instead. I don't know who I'm writing this to. Maybe to God, maybe to nobody. Maybe just to get it out of my chest before it crushes me. I've been lying in this house for 3 days now. Not sick, just empty. Like somebody reached inside and turned off a light that used to burn so bright I could feel it in my bones. I remember when music felt like breathing. When I'd walk on a stage and the whole world made sense. When a song could say everything I never knew how to say out loud. I was 17 years old, standing in a little studio on Union Avenue in Memphis, and Sam Phillips looked at me like maybe I was something real. Nobody had ever looked at me like that before. My daddy worked himself half to death for wages that barely kept the lights on. My mama sewed other people's clothes so I could have something decent to wear to school. We didn't have much. Lord knows we didn't have much. But we had each other, and in the evenings when the world got quiet, there was music. There was always music. I used to think that if I ever made it, if I ever got out of Tupelo, out of the projects in Memphis, out of the life that was already written for boys like me, I would never feel that hollow feeling again. That feeling of not being enough, of being invisible. I was wrong about that. Because here I am. My name is on every marquee in this country. I have more money than my daddy could have dreamed of in 10 lifetimes. I have this house, these cars, these rings on my fingers. And most nights I sit in this room alone, and I feel like that little boy in Tupelo who didn't have a dollar to his name and couldn't figure out why the world felt so far away. Fame doesn't fix what's broken inside a man. It just makes the broken parts louder. I miss Lisa Marie so much it makes me feel sick. She's just a little girl. She deserves a father who shows up, who sits at breakfast and asks about her dreams, who's there when she's scared in the dark. I don't know how to be that man when I can barely hold myself together. And that is the thing I am most ashamed of. Not the bad reviews, not the movies I should have turned down, not the years I let other people make my decisions for me. It's that. It's her. I think about Mama every single day. every single day without exception. Gladys May Presley, the woman who believed in me before there was a single reason to. She used to tell me, "Elvis, God put something in you that the world needs to hear. Don't you ever let them take that from you." I was 22 years old when she died. 22. And something in me went with her that I have never gotten back. People don't talk about that. They talk about the music, the movies, the girls, the money. They don't talk about a young man standing over his mother's grave in the Mississippi heat, feeling like the ground had opened up beneath him and swallowed everything that made him feel safe. I never felt completely safe again after that day. Not once. Priscilla tried. Lord knows she tried. She loved a version of me that I don't think ever really existed outside of her imagination. The truth is, I was always somewhere else. Even when I was standing right in front of her, I was somewhere else. Thinking about the next show. Thinking about Mama. Thinking about nothing and everything all at once. You can't build a life with a man who's never fully present. She deserved better. I know that. I've always known that. There are men around me every day. Good men, most of them. Loyal. They'd do anything I asked. But I can't tell them any of this. I can't sit down with Charlie or Red or Joe and say, "Boys, I am terrified. I am so terrified of what I'm becoming, and I don't know how to stop it." You can't say that when you're Elvis Presley. You can't show them the cracks. So you smile. You joke around. You get back on the plane, and you get back on that stage, and you give every single person in that room everything you've got left. And then you come home to this house, and it is so quiet. I want to sing again the way I used to sing. Not for the money. Not for the contract. Not because the colonel says there are 40 dates booked and the promoters need a guarantee. I want to sing because something moves through me that I can't explain in words, and the only way to let it out is through a song. I had that once. I know I did. I felt it every time I walked into Sun's studio as a kid with nothing to lose. I want that back. I want to feel something real again. If you're reading this, whoever you are, wherever you are, I hope you understand that behind everything you think you know about me, there was just a man. A man who loved his mother more than anything in this world. A man who wanted to make people feel less alone when they heard him sing. A man who got lost somewhere between Tupelo and here and never quite found his way back. I don't know if I ever will, but tonight I'm going to go back to that piano, and I'm going to play something slow, something old, something that sounds like home. That's all I've got left to give tonight. Elvis. He folded the letter. He never mailed it. He never showed it to anyone. 3 years later, on August 16th, 1977, Elvis Aaron Presley was gone. He was 42 years old. The world mourned the king, the icon, the legend. But somewhere inside that letter, in those words written alone in the dark at Graceland, was the man behind the crown. A son who missed his mother. A father who missed his daughter. A human being who felt every bit as lost and lonely and afraid as the rest of us. Maybe more. If this story moved you, if you felt something just now that you didn't expect to feel, subscribe to this channel. Because there are dozens more stories like this one. Stories the history books left out. Stories about who Elvis really was when the cameras were off and the crowds went home. He deserves to be remembered as a man, not just a myth.